Hi everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, medical doctor. Welcome to another video. I want to go over in this video a hypothetical scenario which occurs actually in millions of people every year. That is a diagnosis of pre-diabetes. So many people now, sadly, are getting this diagnosis increasingly younger. Many people as teenagers, 20s, 30s. It was unthinkable a few decades ago. But anyway, people have this diagnosis, and I want to share with you a natural way to reverse this. Do not believe any of the modern day narrative that it's normal to get pre-diabetes, especially at a young age. And if you don't set in motion a path to reverse this, then in most people, it becomes full-blown type 2 diabetes within a few years with all of the associated problems. So if you want to naturally reverse this, it can be done. And interestingly, this invariably could apply to a diagnosis of high cholesterol or even high blood pressure, because in the vast majority of people these days, it is because of insulin resistance, which I've talked about many times before. I'll include a link down below to a video I've made previously. So let's just say you have a diagnosis of prediabetes. In the United States, this will be a HbA1c test above 5.7. So normal is considered less than 5.7. 5.7 to 6.4 is pre-diabetes, and greater than 6.4, 6.5 is considered type 2 diabetes. So the very first thing that I would urge anybody to do with this diagnosis is to consider whether they have an excess body fat percentage, because in nearly everyone, the two are intrinsically linked together. Higher body fat means more insulin resistance, more inflammation, and a higher chance of prediabetes. Now, this isn't true for everybody. So if you're watching and this doesn't apply to you, then what I'm about to say may not apply completely either, but it will in over 90% of people. So what I would like you to do is get some body scales which measure your body fat percentage. Now, these are not perfect. Nothing is by any stretch of the imagination, but I actually prefer this to a body mass index measurement. And there are a lot out there. If you go on Amazon, you can buy these scales. The one that I use is called Fit Index, and I'll include a link down below. And this actually enables you to track your body fat percentage and other measurements, and it attaches to your phone. And it's fairly accurate. So I would like you to measure your body fat percentage, and then you can go online and you can see whether or not your body fat percentage is elevated for your particular age. So there are many different categories, including ideal, athletic. Most people with prediabetes won't have those body fat percentages, but they will be elevated. And body fat percentage typically runs 10 points higher in females than it does in males. That's a normal thing, a difference between males and females. So then, when you know your number, and if you know your number is elevated, it is almost certain that if you start to reverse this body fat percentage naturally, remember the key word is naturally, then you will bring down your HbA1c and lower your chances of full-blown type 2 diabetes and all of those associated complications. Those of you who watch me regularly know my views on the modern day injections to bring about weight loss and my concerns about those. I don't think that these are the long-term answer. I believe that for most people out there, really working on fixing the root cause issue, which is a poor lifestyle, which has brought people to this stage, is the ultimate way to do things. So we are going to focus on the different pillars of well-being, which will help you to naturally reverse your insulin resistance, which is basically pre-diabetes. So let's go over these now. I will be as succinct as possible. Number one, your diet. Of course, your nutrition is the key cornerstone of your health and well-being for anything basically, but especially if you have a diagnosis of pre-diabetes. And it's very likely that if you have this diagnosis that you can optimize your diet to bring your HbA1c down. So the things to focus on are really cutting back on the sugars and the carbohydrates. Now, I'm not saying you need to go keto, you need to go zero carb, but most people out there eat way too many carbohydrates. So what can you do to sensibly cut back? A lot of people have success by limiting carbohydrates before dinner. So be very mindful of this. The carbs, the sugars, do you have way too many sugary treats, which have piled on over the years? Do you eat too many processed foods? The more you can have a natural, wholesome, real food diet, i.e. buy the ingredients from scratch, the better it is for you. And I would like you to focus with your meals keeping them very simple. So at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with a protein, approximately half your plate, and 2 antioxidants. So that would be a couple of colorful vegetables, for instance. And if you snack, go for something which is higher in protein, like a Greek yogurt. You can add in some blueberries. That's one of my favorites for antioxidants. And you can add in some almonds or walnuts as well. But be very mindful of cutting back on the junk, because too many people out there have got into a place where this is considered normal for them. They just eat way too many of these processed junk foods every day. So that's the first thing I would like you to focus on. And a key point here as well is a concept known as time-restricted eating. It can also be called intermittent fasting. Usually that's done for a longer period of time. But I have worked with many, many people, and I've seen a lot of success in people who restrict the hours in which they eat. And it's really important, if your body's not used to this, to go very gently. So the ideal scenario is that you only eat every day within a 6 to 8 hour window. So something like noon to 6 p.m., you have a couple of meals during that time, or 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., that would be an 8-hour window. But that is time-restricted eating. And what that means is for most of the day, you're not eating, you're resting your metabolism, and you're keeping your insulin levels low. Remember, insulin is your fat storage hormone, and a hormone which is associated with inflammation. So the more you naturally keep your insulin levels low, the more chance you will have of reversing your insulin resistance and also losing weight. So keep those points in mind for your diet. Number 2, movement and exercise. Are you moving enough? Now, I have a strict 1 hour a day rule. So many people look at me when I say that and they say, how can I possibly exercise for 1 hour a day? It's impossible. I can't even imagine doing that. Well, let me tell you something. 1 hour is only 4% of your day. That's it. 4% of your day. And it's not just about that 1 hour of time spent. I mean, lots of people who are juggling family with work, a busy career, they think that that's an hour wasted. But think about the rest of the day, the 23 hours, because from that hour of exercise, which you can split up, you can do half an hour in the morning, for instance, half an hour in the evening. The remaining part of your day, you will have improved energy, you'll have a mood boost, increased focus, clarity, you'll be able to sleep better at night. So many people say that once they've incorporated exercise into their lives, and they've got into this regular pattern, that it really helps them with everything else during the day. So this is not 1 hour wasted. Do anything you can. Even a brisk walk counts, especially a brisk walk after meals. That can do wonders for naturally lowering your sugar levels. And many people just start there with brisk walking, moving more. If you can go to the gym, fantastic. And I'd really recommend some muscle strengthening, because the more muscle mass you put on, this doesn't mean becoming like a bodybuilder, but muscle is very physiologically active. So the more you train your muscles, you get them stronger. This can be as little as 20 minutes 3 times a week. With some light dumbbells or resistance bands, the more you are likely to become insulin sensitive and reverse your insulin resistance. So keep that in mind, adding in some strength training. So we'll go over some other key aspects here on your journey towards reversing insulin resistance. Before I do that, I have to say, for anyone out there, especially anybody busy who's juggling the enormous demands of work, of family, and thinks that they have somewhat lost control of their health and started to go in the wrong direction and started to get these types of diagnoses, prediabetes, or it could even be high cholesterol, high blood pressure, check out my MetThrive Method program down below. It's been a pleasure to help so many people already get on a path towards better health, natural holistic fat loss, reversing many of these illnesses that are starting to creep in, and also get stronger. So do check that out down below. My program has already helped so many people. It may be able to help you as well. Okay, let's go with the other key pillars of your well-being journey towards reversing prediabetes. Next up is stress. Stress is ubiquitous in today's society, especially for anybody who has very long hours, is working a ton, then coming back and having family responsibilities. I mean, the stress can seem endless, but those elevated adrenaline and cortisol levels will wreak absolute havoc on your metabolic health and also increase your blood sugars. So keep thinking along the lines of, what can you do to decrease stress? I know this is easier said than done. It is so difficult with all of the stress out there. A lot of stresses can't be completely eliminated. If they can be eliminated, fantastic. But if they can't, what can you do every single day? And yes, I mean every single day, to lower your adrenaline and cortisol levels? What works for you? Could it be a walk in nature? Could it be simply sitting outdoors? Could it be a conversation with good friends? Could it be watching a comedy show? Could it be some meditation? Could it be exercising? Could it be going to the gym? That's one of my favorite stress relievers, but whatever works for you is going to be very unique to you. And I would urge you every single day, ideally for an hour, but if that's not realistic, even 20 minutes, lower those adrenaline and cortisol levels. That will really help you. Then you want to optimize sleep. This is ever so important. Many people don't sleep restfully every single night, and their sleep is very erratic. I know this can be difficult for people who work shifts or their hours are irregular at work, but the more you can optimize sleep, that is when your body replenishes and when it heals. So keep thinking about sleep, have a winding down routine at the end of the night, no really bright screens. If you have to look at the screen, then dim the lights, make sure the room is cool, and try to sleep at the same time every day and wake up at the same time. Keep it simple, like diet. Simplicity always wins. So there you go. We've gone over 4 really important pillars there. 1, diet and nutrition. Number 2, movement and exercise. Number 3, stress management. And number 4, sleep. And finally, I would really strongly encourage you to track your own parameters. It really is true. What you measure, you manage. So track everything. If you're on a journey where you know you've kind of let yourself go, you want to naturally and holistically lose weight, then track your parameters. Remember, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. As long as you can consistently see improvement, whether it's tracking your body fat percentage, your overall weight, whether it's tracking any other labs like your HbA1c, I would also recommend other labs, including HOMA-IR, fasting insulin level, but that's a whole other discussion. But what I want to really emphasize in this particular video is that if you are given a diagnosis of prediabetes, it is not inevitable that you go down the path that millions are going down now of then getting type 2 diabetes, having all of the health complications, being started on medications, and getting sucked into the medical industrial complex. That is not your destiny. You can pull yourself away from the toxic path that modern mainstream culture has put you on. But it is on you. Nothing beats your own will and determination. And I would encourage anybody with this diagnosis of prediabetes or even high cholesterol or high blood pressure to make it an absolute priority. Nothing comes before your health. I repeat, nothing comes before your health, not even your family, because what use are you to your family if you're not well, you're on medications, you lack energy, you're sluggish, you're not feeling good? This is about taking charge. And yes, it is very difficult indeed because so many people have got stuck in patterns which are suboptimal and have led to them getting these diagnoses like prediabetes. So keep on thinking about that. I hope that video was helpful. Once more, if you are in this position and you would like more help with naturally reversing prediabetes, holistic weight loss, and also improving your energy levels, check my MetThrive Method program down below. Also check the links down below for my website, all the other work I do, and our natural supplement store, ohighwellness.com if you're in the USA, North America, ohighwellness.co if you're in the UK, Europe. If you enjoyed this video, you will also enjoy some of my other videos on how to optimize your metabolic health naturally. Hit the like button if you like this video, the subscribe button for more similar videos in the future, and we will speak again very soon.